The feeling started months ago, maybe years, a restless anxiety you cannot name, a disconnection from everyone and everything you once knew. You are watching the world through glass, like you are here, but not here. People are talking, but their words feel hollow. Life is moving forward, but you are standing still. You thought you were broken. You thought you were going crazy. But Jung discovered something that will change everything you believe about what is happening to you. You are not falling apart. You are waking up. And the universe needed you awake before something massive shifts in human consciousness. Jung called it the transition. And he discovered that without people like you waking up first, the collective human psyche would collapse under the weight of what is coming. Why you? Why now? And why does it feel more like a curse than a gift? Because being awake before the rest of the world makes you a target. It isolates you, it exhausts you. But Jung found that this painful awakening is not random, it is necessary. You are chosen to be awake now because the transition cannot happen without you. Jung spent decades documenting patients who felt exactly what you are feeling right now. That gnawing sense that something fundamental is changing, that the old world is dying, and you can feel its death rattle in your bones, that you no longer fit into the structures that once held you. Jobs that once gave you purpose now feel like prisons. Relationships that once felt secure now feel suffocating. Beliefs that once comforted you now feel like lies. Most people are still asleep. They go through their routines, chasing the same goals, believing the same stories. But you cannot go back to sleep. You have seen too much. You have felt too much. And every attempt to conform, to fit back into the old patterns, makes you feel like you are dying inside. Jung called people like you the advance guard of the collective unconscious. You are scouts sent ahead into unknown territory. Your job is not to drag everyone else forward. Your job is to survive the crossing first, so you can show others the way when they are ready. But here is what Jung discovered that most people do not understand. Your current struggles are not signs of weakness. They are signs of strength. The isolation you feel, the hypersensitivity, the overwhelming sense that you do not belong, these are not mental illness. These are the friction of waking up before the rest of the world is ready. You are not too sensitive. You are perceiving reality at a level most people cannot yet access. Think about what you have been feeling lately. The anxiety that has no clear source. The exhaustion that sleep does not fix. The desperate need to be alone because people drain you in ways they never did before. Jung understood this. He documented it in his patients during his own psychological crisis after breaking with Freud. He was going through his own awakening, his own transition, and he nearly lost his mind in the process. Jung called this period the confrontation with the unconscious. For him, it lasted 6 years. 6 years of visions, voices, overwhelming emotions that threatened to destroy him. But he survived it, and he realized that what felt like a breakdown was actually a breakthrough. He was not going crazy. He was evolving faster than his environment could support. The same thing is happening to you. Your psyche is reorganizing itself at a fundamental level. Old patterns are dissolving. Old identities are crumbling. And there is nothing you can do to stop it. You can only choose whether to resist it or surrender to it. Resistance feels like depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Surrender feels like dying, like losing everything you thought you were. But on the other side of that death is something Jung called individuation, becoming who you actually are, not who the world told you to be. Jung discovered that mass consciousness moves slowly, like a glacier, but individual consciousness can move fast, like lightning. And when your consciousness accelerates beyond the collective pace, you become visible to something dangerous. Jung called it the collective shadow. The sleeping majority does not like being reminded that they are asleep. And when they see someone who is awake, they react with hostility, judgment, gaslighting. They tell you that you are thinking too much, feeling too much, expecting too much. They tell you to be realistic, to get your head out of the clouds, to stop being so dramatic. But what they are really saying is this: stop reflecting back to us the truth we are not ready to see. Stop showing us that another way of living is possible. Stop making us feel uncomfortable by being yourself. Jung documented case after case of patients who felt like they were going insane, but were actually just evolving faster than their environment. One patient, a woman in her 30s, came to Jung in crisis. She could no longer hold a job, maintain friendships, or function in society. But when Jung examined her carefully, he found no mental illness. What he found was someone whose consciousness had expanded beyond the psychological containers her culture provided. She could see through social facades. She could feel the unspoken tensions in every room. She knew when people were lying, not because they gave obvious tells, but because she could sense the misalignment between their words and their energy. This gift made normal life impossible. Empaths aren't broken, they're alchemists in progress. The Alchemist's Path gives you drills, Jung-based boundaries, and 3 exclusive chapter videos to turn overwhelm into clarity. By Surreal Mind, 236-page downloadable ebook, in stock. Begin now at thesurrealmind.com. Small talk felt torturous. Office politics were transparently manipulative. Dating was exhausting because she could see through every performance. Jung realized she was not sick. She was experiencing what he called differentiated perception. Her psyche had become more conscious than the collective, and she was paying the price for that advancement. She could not go back to unconsciousness, but she had not yet learned how to live consciously in an unconscious world. This is your situation right now. You have awakened to truths that most people are not ready to see. You have become sensitive to energies, dynamics, and patterns that others are blind to. And this sensitivity is destroying your ability to participate in the old world. Jobs that once worked no longer work. Relationships that once satisfied no longer satisfy. Entertainment that once distracted no longer distracts. You are watching everyone around you play a game you can no longer pretend is real. But here is what Jung discovered that can save you. This is not permanent suffering. This is a phase, a necessary phase. You are in the tunnel between who you were and who you are becoming. And the only way out is through. You cannot go back. You can only go forward. And the pressure you are feeling right now, the intensity, the overwhelm, this is the universe accelerating your development because you are needed on the other side. Jung studied what he called the Kairos, the turning of the ages. He believed that human consciousness evolves in great cycles, and we are living through one of those turning points right now. The old era is ending, a new era is beginning, and the transition between them is chaotic, terrifying, disorienting. Most people will sleep through this transition. They will cling to the old structures until those structures collapse. But you cannot sleep through it. You were awakened early for a reason. Jung documented what happens during these transition periods. Mental illness spikes, anxiety, and depression become epidemic. Suicides increase. People feel untethered, unmoored, like the ground is disappearing beneath their feet. The old psychological containers are breaking. The beliefs, identities, and social structures that once gave people meaning are no longer working. And without new containers to hold them, people fall apart. This is why you are awake now. Your job is not to save everyone. Your job is to build the new containers, to embody the new consciousness, to become a living example of what is possible on the other side of the transition. But to do that, you have to survive the crossing yourself first. And survival means accepting something terrifying. You cannot wait for others to wake up with you. You cannot wait for permission to become who you are. You have to walk alone for a while, maybe a long while. Jung called this the problem of the individual versus the collective. The collective wants conformity. It wants everyone moving at the same pace, believing the same stories, following the same rules. But the individual must break away from the collective to evolve. And that breaking away is painful. It feels like exile. It feels like betrayal. It feels like you are doing something wrong by being yourself. But Jung discovered something crucial. If you fall back asleep now, if you conform to avoid the pain of being awake, you risk your own psychological destruction. Because once you have seen the truth, you cannot unsee it. Once you have felt your own expansion, you cannot shrink back into the old containers without violence to your soul. The anxiety you feel is not a sign that you are going the wrong way. The anxiety is your psyche screaming at you not to go back. Jung studied patients who tried to conform after awakening. They developed severe depression, psychosomatic illnesses, addiction. Some became suicidal because the gap between who they had become and who they were pretending to be created unbearable tension. Jung called this psychological splitting. When you try to live against your own truth, you split into fragments. Part of you knows, part of you pretends, and the war between these parts destroys you from the inside. This is why the pressure feels so intense right now. The universe is not giving you the option to go back to sleep. Every time you try to numb out, to distract yourself, to pretend everything is fine, the pressure increases, the anxiety spikes, the restlessness grows. Your soul is pushing you forward because backward is no longer an option. You have crossed a threshold, and the only way to ease the pressure is to stop resisting and start accepting what is happening to you. Jung called this surrender, the beginning of individuation. The moment you stop fighting your own awakening and start cooperating with it. The moment you accept that you are different now, that you cannot go back, that you are being transformed whether you like it or not. That acceptance does not make the pain disappear, but it changes the quality of the pain. It becomes creative pain instead of destructive pain, pain with purpose. Pain that is building something instead of just tearing things down. But Jung discovered something else, something that explains why this feels so urgent right now. The transition is accelerating. The old world is collapsing faster than expected, and the universe is rushing the development of people like you because you are needed soon, very soon. The collective is about to face a crisis that will shatter their psychological defenses. And when that happens, they are going to need people who have already crossed the threshold. People who have already faced their shadows. People who can hold steady while everything around them falls apart. You are being trained right now. Your isolation is training you to stand alone. Your hypersensitivity is training you to read energy and truth. Your disillusionment with the old world is training you to build a new one. Your anxiety is training you to function under pressure. Your depression is training you to surrender control and trust the process. Everything you are going through right now is preparation for what is coming. Jung believed that the unconscious is infinitely intelligent. It knows what you need before you know. It orchestrates experiences, encounters, and crises that force you to grow in specific ways. Your current suffering is not random. It is curriculum. And the moment you understand that, the moment you stop resisting and start learning, everything shifts. The pain does not disappear, but it gains meaning. And pain with meaning is bearable. Pain without meaning destroys you. Think about the people in your life right now. How many of them understand what you're going through? How many of them can hold space for your transformation without trying to fix you, save you, or convince you that you are wrong? Probably none, or very few. And that loneliness is part of the training. Because the role you are being prepared for requires you to stand alone, to trust yourself when no one else believes you, to see clearly when everyone around you is blind. Jung called this holding the tension of the opposites. You are standing between two worlds right now, the old world that is dying and the new world that is being born. Most people can only see one world at a time, but you can see both. You can see how broken the old world is, and you can sense the possibility of something better. And that ability to hold both realities simultaneously, that is your gift. That is why you were chosen, because the transition requires people who can see in both directions at once. But holding that tension is excruciating. You feel torn apart. You want to let go of the old world, but you do not yet have the new world to step into. You are in the void between worlds, and the void is terrifying. It feels like freefall, like nothing is solid, like you could disappear completely. Jung went through this himself during his Red Book period. He wrote about standing at the edge of an abyss, terrified that if he took one more step, he would fall into madness. But he took the step, and he did not fall into madness. He fell into truth. This is what is being asked of you right now, to take the step into the void, to let go of the old world, even though you cannot yet see the new one clearly, to trust that you will not fall, or that if you do fall, you will land somewhere you need to be. Jung discovered that the unconscious catches you. It never lets you fall further than necessary for your growth, but it will let you fall as far as necessary, and sometimes that feels like dying. The moment everything changes is when you stop waiting for others to wake up and validate your experience, when you stop needing the world to recognize what you see, when you stop trying to convince people who are not ready to hear. That moment is the climax of your transformation. Jung called it accepting your role as the anchor. You are not here to drag people forward. You are here to be steady while everything shakes. You are here to embody the new consciousness so fully that others can find their way to you when they are ready. Your symptoms were never symptoms. They were training. The i.e. anxiety taught you to be alert. The depression taught you to let go. The isolation taught you to be self-sufficient. The hypersensitivity taught you to read truth. Everything you have suffered has been preparing you for something, and that something is about to reveal itself. Jung believed that the individual must hold the tension of the opposites to save the collective. What does that mean? It means you must embody both the old and the new. You must understand where people are coming from while seeing where they need to go. You must have compassion for their blindness while refusing to participate in it. You must be gentle with their fear while standing firm in your truth. This is not easy. It requires spiritual maturity that most people never develop. But you are developing it right now. Every moment you resist the urge to judge sleeping people. Every moment you hold your truth without needing validation. Every moment you stay present with your own pain instead of numbing it. You are building the capacity to be the anchor. But Jung warned about something crucial. You cannot become the anchor through willpower or spiritual ambition. You become the anchor by surrendering to what is being done to you. The universe is not asking for your help. It is transforming you, whether you cooperate or not. Your only choice is whether to resist and suffer unnecessarily, or surrender and let the transformation happen. And surrender does not mean passive acceptance. Surrender means active cooperation. It means saying yes to what is, even when what is terrifies you. Think about what you have lost during this awakening. Maybe relationships that could not handle your growth. Maybe careers that no longer aligned with your values. Maybe beliefs that once comforted you. Maybe versions of yourself that you loved but could no longer inhabit. These losses were not failures. They were necessary deaths. Jung said that nothing new can be born until the old dies completely, and you have been in a death process Parts of you have been dying, and that death is painful, terrifying, disorienting. But on the other side of death is rebirth. You are being reborn right now, not metaphorically, literally. Your psyche is reorganizing itself at such a fundamental level that you are becoming a different person. Your values are changing. Your priorities are shifting. Your understanding of reality is expanding. And this transformation is not optional. It is happening whether you like it or not. The only question is whether you will fight it or flow with it. Jung discovered that people who flow with their transformation emerge stronger, clearer, more integrated. People who fight it emerge broken, bitter, hardened. The difference is not in what happens to them. The difference is in their relationship to what happens. Are you the victim of the transition, or are you the architect of it? Are you being destroyed by forces beyond your control, or are you being refined by a process you are beginning to understand? This shift from victim to architect is everything. When you see yourself as a victim, you feel powerless. When you see yourself as an architect, you recognize your agency. You cannot control what is happening to you, but you can control how you respond. You can resist and suffer, or you can surrender and transform. The universe does not care which you choose, but you will care, because resistance leads to prolonged suffering, surrender leads to accelerated transformation, and the world needs your transformation to accelerate, because the collective crisis is coming. The old structures are collapsing faster than anyone expected. Economic systems, political systems, social systems, religious systems, all the containers that held human consciousness for the last era are breaking, and when they break completely, chaos will erupt. People will panic. They will cling to authoritarian solutions. They will scapegoat. They will regress, unless there are people who have already crossed the threshold, people who can stay steady in chaos, people who can see clearly when everyone else is blind, people like you. This is not spiritual ego. This is not a savior complex. This is recognition of what is actually happening. You were awakened early because you are needed, not to save everyone, not to be a guru or a leader, but to be a steady presence, to be someone who has already faced the void and survived, to be someone who can hold space for others when their worlds collapse, to be a bridge between the old consciousness and the new. You are the bridge, not the destination, not the savior, the bridge. And a bridge does not force people to cross. It simply stands steady and offers passage to those who are ready. Your job is not to convince anyone. Your job is to be so solid in your own transformation that others can feel it. To be so clear in your own consciousness that others can sense the possibility. To be so integrated in your own psyche that others recognize what wholeness looks like. But you cannot be the bridge while you are still fighting your own transformation. You cannot hold space for others while you are still collapsing yourself. You cannot be steady while you are still shaking. This is why the pressure is so intense right now. You are being forged, hammered, refined, and forgery is violent. It breaks you down to rebuild you stronger. It burns away impurities. It shapes you into something capable of bearing weight. You are being shaped to bear weight. The weight of holding consciousness while others lose theirs. The weight of seeing clearly while others panic. The weight of standing firm while everything shakes. And that weight requires strength you do not have yet. But you are building it. Every moment you survive this process, you are building strength. Every moment you stay present with your pain, you are building capacity. Every moment you choose truth over comfort, you are becoming the bridge. Jung said the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But becoming who you truly are requires letting go of who you thought you were. And that letting go is the hardest thing you will ever do. because who you thought you were felt safe. It felt known. It felt manageable. Who you truly are feels dangerous. It feels unknown. It feels overwhelming. But who you truly are is also infinitely more powerful than who you thought you were. You thought you were small. You thought you were limited. You thought you needed permission to be yourself. But the transition is showing you the truth. You are not small. You are vast. You are not limited. You are capable of things you cannot yet imagine. You do not need permission. You need courage to claim what has always been yours. And claiming it does not mean becoming arrogant. It means becoming humble before your own magnitude. It means recognizing that you are not special in the sense of being better than others. You are special in the sense of being chosen for a specific role. And that role requires everything you have. It requires your full presence, your full consciousness, your full commitment to truth. The transition is not coming. The transition is here. It is happening right now. You are living through it. And you were awakened early because you are needed to help others navigate what is coming. Not through preaching, not through convincing, but through embodying, through being so solid in your own transformation that others can lean on you when their foundations crumble. You made it. You survived the hardest part, which is the initial awakening, the initial shattering of your old world, the initial confrontation with truths you were not ready to see. You are still here. You are still standing, maybe barely. Maybe you feel broken, but you are here. And that means you are strong enough for what comes next. The transition needs you, not the you that you were, the you that you are becoming, the you that has been forged in fire, the you that has faced the void and did not run, the you that can hold space when everyone else collapses. That you is being born right now, through pain, through pressure, through everything you wish was not happening but is happening anyway. So stop resisting. Stop wishing it was different. Stop trying to go back to who you were. You cannot go back. You can only go forward. And forward means accepting your role. Forward means becoming the bridge. Forward means letting the transition complete itself in you so you can help others when their turn comes. You are ready. Maybe you do not feel ready, but ready is not a feeling. Ready is a choice. And you have been choosing readiness every moment you survived this process. Every moment you stayed present. Every moment you refused to numb out completely. You have been choosing readiness even when you did not know what you were choosing. The universe needed you awake before the transition. And now you are awake. You are here. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. And the world needs you exactly as you are right now. Imperfect, still transforming, still figuring it out, but awake, conscious, present. And that is enough. If you recognize yourself in this message, if you feel the truth of what has been described, comment, "I am ready," or "I am the bridge," because naming it makes it real. Claiming it makes it conscious. And consciousness is what this entire transformation has been about. You are not broken. You are breaking open. You are not falling apart. You are falling together in a new configuration. You are not losing yourself. You are finding yourself. And the world needs you found, conscious, awake, now. Subscribe for more insights into Jung's understanding of consciousness evolution and the psychological transformation happening to individuals who are awakening ahead of the collective. And together, we are building the bridge. In The Alchemist's Path, perception training for empaths, you'll turn overwhelm into wisdom with practical drills, Jung-inspired boundaries, and step-by-step perception training. This guide includes 3 exclusive chapter videos to deepen each lesson. Written by Surreal Mind, 236 pages, beautifully designed 8.5 by 11 downloadable ebook, in stock now. Start your training today. Feel deeply while thinking clearly. Get The Alchemist's Path at thesurrealmind.com. Thanks for watching. See you in the next dimension.